right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. Welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. Normally, I would be introducing that other dashingly handsome mustache man, Don the Predator Fry, but Don is a little under the weather. But as the cliche goes, the show must go on, and filling in for the Predator, we have Tony Martinez. Tony is normally behind the camera, but he has come out of seclusion to sit in and make sure that the show indeed goes on. And besides, he has a mustache and a goatee, so he is good to go. Our guest today is Harrison Rogers, and this coming up, it will be the Freedom Fight #2, and we are here to simply find out more about what the Freedom Fight is all about and learn more about Harrison Rogers.
Guys, had I had known, I would have grown it out. Darn it!
We're gonna start sending people.
It's not November.
Those paste on mustaches just to slap them on here, okay?
Thank you. Next time, I'll be a man.
But the fact that you're in Arizona, all three, well, I said you two are in Arizona right now. I'm there part-time a year. I'm up in Cody, Wyoming, as we go. So please share with us what is Freedom Fight Night and where the concept came from, what the purpose is behind it, and just share with us here now.
Thank you so much for the time, because it's a kind of a weird story how we got here, but I think it's important with what's going on kind of in the world and definitely our country right now, where you said it, I'm from Arizona and born and raised here. I tried my hardest to mind my own business and stay in my little bubble and grow businesses, and luckily I was able to be pretty successful at it and own multiple businesses now. That part of what I do is venture capital, private equity, and have been blissfully ignorant of politics and of government overreach until 2020.
You mean there's something wrong with our government? Is that what you're trying to say here?
Like I said, taking the red pill, I almost wish I could go back and be blissfully ignorant, because that was a good life, but I had front row seats to the 2020 government overreach, which, I thought we were living in America, and then all of a sudden they can tell us which businesses are essential, which ones aren't essential, which ones can stay open, which one can't, which companies are too big to fail. And obviously the big companies killed it in 2020.
And even demanding that you get inoxulated, vaxxed, double vaxxed, triple vaxxed, and without nothing being proven. And it's trust me, I like what you're saying, and I can't agree with you more. It's just It's good to hear from different perspectives. I even like the fact that you got the American flag behind you. Look at that.
Yes. No, Old Glory. Yes. Thank you guys. No, it's been a huge whirlwind change, mindset shift, because in my different businesses, I have over 500 employees. And so the government trying to tell me that I have to require them to get shots for them to continue to work and all these different things. And they're looking to me of being like, are you going to protect us from that? I mean, I'm all for, if you choose to get a vaccination, that's your right. Go get it. If you think it's safe, you've done your research, please do. Who in the world feels like they can tell anybody to do anything in regards to their medical health? And so to then, so anyway, it's been a
right
weird
not to get it as well.
Yeah. I mean,
and if everybody else gets a vaccination, why should I? We should all be good to go. I mean, it's my freedom of choice. I go, there's a lot of people that are trying to come to our country because they look at all the freedoms that we have. So, yeah.
And they're going away quickly. I am realizing, I mean, freedom of obviously the medical decisions of our own bodies, but of freedom of speech. I've had to build and invest in a whole social media platform just so that I can speak and not be censored and deplatformed. And so Clout Hub that's actually what we're going to be streaming our pay-per-view live for Freedom Fight Night through, because I have a feeling that the more we grow, we're going to be shut down. So we have some servers that are completely impervious to Amazon, server, Apple, Google, all these people who, we saw Parler come and go. It's like, how far do we have to build this parallel universe to be safe? So we're working on that. But going back to how we got there was, I was talking to so many of my business colleagues of, we had no idea where to even begin to hold these representatives accountable. Like, we don't remember in school learning about civics. We don't remember government law. What's the whole judicial system that can kind of keep checks and balances. And so we were just like furious that they're shutting us down and making us do all these crazy things that we didn't even know was legal, constitutionally, but we didn't know how to combat that. And so we started a little group to start educating ourselves with original, laws and our founding fathers' whole ideology behind our Constitution. And it just led in one thing to another, where I jumped full in. I was in a little bit of a better situation financially and business wise than some of my colleagues, to be able to say, hey, I'm going to turn over some of the operations to some good controllers. And I'm going to get deep into this political world and figure out how to circle back and help some of my friends who want to be involved, but they don't trust any establishment or super PAC or anybody to donate their hard-earned money to, but they want to put their money to work and fight back, but they just don't know where to start. So 2020, I jumped into a lot of different organizations to start, when you're donating, people will let you in any door. So I just started donating and getting to know everybody and realizing how old school the conservative party is, and undeveloped. And I hate using the word progressive because that's not what they are either, but we haven't progressed either in so many sophisticated ways. On nobody cares about cocktail parties anymore. Nobody wants to go wine and dine, middle America. The grassroots are what really need to get, and Trump was great at that. Trump got the grassroots all energized. Kerry Lake is doing that, but it needs to not be a show. It needs to be the way the party, the conservatives, operate. And the way we do that is going to where that audience is. And middle America loves sports, but unfortunately, NBA, the NFL, all these big sporting places have fallen to the woke culture.
Yeah, we don't like it when we see people, our hero players, taking a knee.
I mean,
stuff like that. I mean, to me, I'm a cut in for a moment here because it infuriates me. Is because I go, you don't understand. I say that you, but most people don't understand what that flag means, and freedom is not free. Yeah.
I mean, now they're going into our schools and talking about how we need to be drag queen proud and choose our genders.
Here, I'll interrupt you here for a moment. But I'm going to be making a point here at the same time. How many women fights do you have on your freedom fight?
We have 3.
3. So, okay, my legal name is Daniel. So if I was to grow up ponytails and I want to say, I'm going to change my name down to Danielle, and I identify as being, a 27-year-old girl now. I want to fight on the freedom fight.
They would call you Leah Thompson, or what's the swimmer's name?
You don't even need ponytails, Dan. You just have to say that's what I am today.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm going to go make.
I was just taking a little bit further, just for the paint the picture here.
No, we know.
No, it's illustrated. It's sad because you don't even have to paint it. We have several actual examples of this happening. It's crazy.
Yeah, you got that happening in swimming. You got to have that happening in powerlifting. You've got it's
in MMA. There are trans MMA fighters, and that's what me and Frank talk about all the time with his daughter Bella going into the UFC or in MMA. Now she's 3-0 in her professional career. She is incredibly talented and skilled. Don't you dare throw a male-born
against females, against other females. She's she's probably one of the elite.
Yep.
But you put her up against like Dan. Call himself Danielle.
No. You mean my counterpart, Danielle. Okay, well, come on.
She could show up this weekend and probably beat some of those girls on your card.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully she doesn't, but hopefully she chooses to be damned this weekend. But
yeah.
No.
I know, but I'm getting up there in years, so it's kind of, yeah. So
I mean, so a lot of these things that we're realizing with sports and entertainment, we're losing the culture war, because for some reason it is completely okay to be at a Eminem concert or an NBA game or NFL game and talk about how much you hate America and how much you will kneel for the flag. But the second you get up and say, you know what, I think that some of this pandemic is a little bit on purpose. Boom. Or you know what? I love the country. I love the flag. When did that become a microaggression, saying that you love the freaking American flag? And so I found, luckily I grew up passionate about MMA. And so this is kind of fun to say, I'm going to take the MMA world, which the audience is usually outspoken conservative. They love, that doesn't mean they're Republican. That doesn't mean they're whatever, but they are pro-freedom. They are like, I will sacrifice my comfort for the risk of injury. I will sacrifice eating. I'll sacrifice a crap ton of workouts because I want to achieve victory. I want to challenge myself and receive the glory that comes from that. And fighters, are not going to be told that, hey, you need to give that belt to the same fighter over here because that's fair, that's equity. When they weren't grinding at 4 a.m. like you were. And so taking this amazing sport and these fighters to then say to this audience, here's a little bit of education. We're not going to indoctrinate you, but we're going to let you know that here are some of the things that you can do to fight back against the government, hold your representatives accountable, while enjoying some good entertainment that they enjoy, and knowing that their tickets, that their concessions, their whatever are going to a good cause. I thought it could just be a great win-win-win, and man, it sure was that way for the first event in Miami. And so now bringing it to Arizona, our second event is building up to be 10 times even bigger and better, where we have names that are on both the political side and the MMA side. We got some heavyweights showing up to this thing, and it's kind of fun to watch it continue to grow.
So ticket sales from your event, what do they go to?
freedomfightnight.com. Pretty easy.
Yeah. So, but like, let's say, so people, you said that you donate, or the money goes towards what? Like towards what does that help out? What are you? So
we really try to not be candidate pushy, because that's one, it's kind of difficult with PAC laws and committee laws and whatnot with donations. We try to also be very purposeful with our spending for education, helping our individuals learn how they can become poll workers, not just poll watchers. We do need more poll watchers, but how they can actually even make money working for a good cause, which is much easier to raise a red flag when you're a poll worker than it is when you're a poll watcher, because really your complaints and your investigation doesn't happen until after the fact. And we learn what happens when things happen after the fact. People forget about it and they're like, conspiracy theorists. So teaching people how to become much more involved with the elections, how they can hold their current representatives accountable, in the primaries, because the primaries are crazy important, but people just kind of says, well, I'll wait till our party figures out who our candidate's going to be, and then obviously I'll vote for them in the general, and we'll cream them in the general. Well, when that happens, the establishment on both sides, the establishment Republicans, the establishment Democrats, they are picking who the primary is going to be, who the candidate's going to be. We need to make sure that we, the people, are putting the actual candidate into the general, and so educating these people from the very beginning, letting them see what their past, like, hey, we're not just going to let the news educate us on what their background is. Right now we have, Karen Robson or Robeson, however people say it, Carrie Lake. We have a few other candidates that aren't as ahead as those two. You got to do your due diligence, and it's uncomfortable, it's time consuming, and that's why people haven't done it for so long. But that's why we've gotten into this mess, is just leaving politics to the politicians. We can't do that anymore. And so our events go to funding more education events like summits and seminars, and paying for people to be able to go to things like this where they want to be active, they want to take an active role, but they just don't know where to start. So that's where we want to be.
So who's on this card? Then you said you have some big names that you have coming up on this card.
So it's kind of cool. We're actually, I don't know if I should announce this on this platform, because we're making a big announcement at the event on Friday where we're switching this whole bad boy up, but it's teams currently, and we have celebrity coaches versus celebrity coach, and then they have their fighters that can win the team award. But right now they don't all train together.
So is it like a point system? The team that each time they win, they get points and then accumulate for the team, and there's going to be a winner?
It's very much like the wrestling world in college, collegiate wrestling, like with points and with all these different things that is cool, but it doesn't really work until it goes big. And so we're actually going to go really big and actually make this into a league. We're opening up franchises now, because we're not going to just be a political fundraiser forever. It just kind of started that way. Mm-hmm. But we're now going to turn it into a full league where people can become their own franchise, say in Seattle or Mesa, and the league will give them a contract and pay them, or they will buy into us. We're working with a few different franchisees, depending on if they have money to buy into it, or if they buy us out through their events, profits and whatnot. But if you can get a team of fighters who, it's going to be a mindset shift.
How many people are on a team?
It's going to be one of every weight class.
Okay.
So you'll have a bench. You'll need people to be deep, but you'll need to offer salaries to these people so they can focus full time. But you want to be on a team like the Lakers want LeBron James to be on their team. Yeah, they're going to make more than you, but you at least could be on a championship team. And so the same with this team. It's like, look, I'm not going to be the UFC champion in this league, but I can make a good amount of money with a good team here and be able to put my whole life into it and not have to work a full-time job and then train and then hope one day to be the best. If you know that you're probably not going to beat John Jones, why not be on a great team, make good money, but then know that somebody on your team is making a lot more, like say Conor McGregor. You want him on your team, but he's going to take, a larger portion of the take of the purse.
I don't think you want him on your team. He's going to lose all the time.
No. Yeah. Now, I mean, but because with the point system, you have to be more team worried. You aren't going to just fight to not lose. Like in a lot of fights, you just want to keep your record up. So you fight to not lose. With these, you want to get in there and get a knockout. You want to go in there and get a submission, because each round you get less points. I mean, it goes off of, obviously off of longevity. Like the quicker the rounds are, the higher. I have much better lingo with Frank Mir how to explain this.
If you get like a quick, like 6-second knockout, you're going to get more points.
Yeah, you'll get like
And then
15 points.
It's almost like doing like a quick trivia game where if you answer the question right away, you're going to get max points. The longer you take, you get less points as the fight goes on.
Well, it's also a way of just making the matches that much more exciting for the fans that come to watch her versus a long drawn out. If it's a 15-minute fight or maybe up to a 25-minute fight, and you still have to go to scorecards because you just don't know, is this so close? So, okay.
Yeah. And it allows for that team atmosphere, because just as much as you love following a fighter, I plan to own the Phoenix Suns one day. I don't know if you can see this, like whatever, but because I love growing and building teams. And what's cool about this is like it'd be really cool to be like, I support this team as a fan. Like, oh, did you hear they're trading Devin Booker for, whoever? Like, I want fans to be able to do stuff like that with like a fantasy MMA league. But this is going to take years to develop because it's really changing the whole dynamic of the MMA.
Are you starting some? So you said on Friday you're dropping the news of this league's how it's going to develop.
Yep.
Or is this already going to start? You already have a handful of teams. This is already going to happen.
We do have a handful of teams that are very interested in being the first franchises, but a couple of them don't have as much cash or access to cash to buy into as a franchise. So we're working out different deals like, hey, you'll put on a couple of these fights, and if you win the purse, it will actually go towards buying out the
remaining
franchise.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so there's a way we're structuring with a couple of these different teams and franchises in a few different states. But what we're going to announce or launch is that we're not going to just remain a political fundraising event. This is actually going to be a game-changing fight night. So it'll go from freedom fight night to team fight night.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.